It tastes good. Hold it from the bottom.
It feels really cool.
You just ate it.
Like you can just eat your own work.
Being in the garden is kind of like a safe house, I guess, because you don't have to deal with all of your peers that are mean or rude. You can just come here, and if you're having a bad day, Miss Emily helps you like calm down, or she makes a joke or something and it lightens your mood.
I don't mean you have to finish it, I just mean students are going to finish it today.
Working in a garden connects us to nature and teaches us about the foods we eat. For students in Charlottesville City Schools, getting their hands in the dirt is as much about feeding their souls as it is about nurturing their minds. Join us today as we visit with Jeanette Abinader, Executive Director of City Schoolyard Garden. Come on.
City Schoolyard Garden has a fourfold mission, and it's to engage youth in gardening and garden programming to enhance their academic studies, to build health, cultivate healthy living skills, environmental stewardship, and healthy living.
Okay, so how and why did the program get started in the first place?
Yeah, it started in 2010. Linda Weinkauf, who had children at the city schools, had learned about the edible schoolyard garden in Berkeley and been inspired by what they were doing in terms of integrating garden education with the schools. And so she went around and talked to the different schools here about starting that idea. And Eric Johnson at Buford Middle School was like, yeah, let's do it. And so they started a garden at Buford. They dug ground, built this beautiful garden, put up a fence. And it was really just a group of committed volunteers, most of whom were parents of kids in the schools.
How many children are served by the program? How many gardens do you have?
Yeah, so from that first garden at Buford in 2010, we expanded to all of the elementary school gardens. Charlottesville City Schools has 6 elementary neighbor schools. There's a garden at each of those. There's the larger garden at Buford, and then we're just starting with a garden at the high school.
Oh, that's fantastic. So how many children do you say are reached?
So there are about 2,700 children reached at this point.
And how many acres of garden?
We have about 23,000, 24,000 square feet of gardens throughout the different spots.
Can you set that in the ground?
I know how to do it.
Buford is not Buford without the garden. They're learning how to take care of nature. They're learning how to help one another. And it makes sense because the world is our classroom. We shouldn't be confined to just 4 walls.
You know, there are many different ways that it's okay to plant a tomato, and the tomato is going to survive. Because I give them that space almost from having an adult supervision, they take more ownership of their work, they work better together, and that's really, I like to foster that.
If you're chosen to be in the garden class, then you expand your knowledge more about how to plant, and like if you want to build your own garden at home, you can take your knowledge from this class to home.
City Schoolyard Garden helps a lot to those people who are refugee like us, who came from other country, because it gives us a lot of food to take home and give to others people.
So each of the school gardens is a little bit different. At Buford, which is we have a full-time garden educator there. She has 2 daily classes, the Garden Aid class, where the students come out every day and they follow the whole system from seed all the way to harvest. They learn how to cook, they design the garden, they order the seeds, all of that. They're there all through the year. And then she also does physical ed classes that come out, and they learn about active living through gardening, those kinds of things.
That is so fantastic.
Yeah, it's a whole range. The family and consumer science class comes out, the earth science classes, they do all kinds of experiments in the garden. So that's at Buford.
Okay.
And then each of the elementary schools are different. They have their own way of interacting. We have a garden coordinator at each school, and they bring classes out. So for example, at Burnley Moran, there's the garden choral group. The little kids come out and they sing.
The little kindergartners.
Yeah, the kindergartners
oh,
come out.
I love that.
And they also do, Burnley Moran also has a lot of where the students design the gardens. Right now they're designing a permaculture bed, and they have a butterfly habitat. So they do research, they design it, they build it, they plant it, and then they do like an open house and they share it with everybody.
That's
fantastic.
Really cool.
And then at Clark Elementary, they do a garden to table unit. They also do this at Venable, where they make salads. So they grow everything you would want for a salad. They harvest it and share it together. They also have after school clubs. They do in-classroom experiments, the whole gamut.
What happens at Jackson Via?
Jackson Via is one of the largest properties in the city. And so they have an after-school club here that works with the Piedmont Master Gardeners, and they planted all these beautiful beds right here.
Oh, this is so great.
Yeah, and they have worm composting bins in the classrooms.
Oh, they must love that.
Yeah.
Oh, they must love, or not, but I mean, it's exciting.
And they take their snacks. And then we have a few core lessons that we do at all of the schools to tie it together. So we have the Harvest of the Month, which you are going to get to see. You got to see some of the
And
carrots.
tell us, what is that?
Harvest of the Month is a monthly program where we get a local snack that's sourced through one of our partners, the local food hub, works with growers in the area. And we provide that snack to over 2,500 students around the school. They've done kale, radishes, salad turnips. So the middle schoolers do research on it. They do artwork. They make this beautiful artwork where they paint watercolors of it.
And they design the flyers
they
that
design-
talk all about what you can use it for, what you can do with it. That
and
goes
how it
home.
grows, everything. It goes home to the families, yeah. And the reason why we do this is the research shows that kids need to be exposed to a fresh vegetable like 18 times before they're willing to have it be part of their meal.
All right, let's get some of these carrots so we can taste them. One for everyone here. Someone said that carrots are good for what? Your eyesight? That's a tiny little one, huh? Should I have one too? Yeah? Okay.
The hands-on learning and taking that kind of ownership, there's no substitute for it.
Yeah.
Well, what happens at Johnson? Isn't there? Don't you measure peas?
Yes, so that's another one of our cross-district lessons. So we do a first peas to the table. This was a tradition started by Thomas Jefferson back in the day. He used to have a competition with his neighbors to see who could bring the first ready harvest of English peas. So it starts with the students reading a book called First Peas to the Table.
Okay.
And then they go out and they plant their peas. Some schools plant them in different ways, like with compost, without compost. At Johnson, they usually put like a raw fish underneath. That was one thing Thomas Jefferson did. He planted a raw fish in the bed and then the peas on top.
Oh, the kids must have thought that was just
yeah.
crazy.
And then they go out every week and they measure how the growth is going, and we keep track on our website of each of the 6 elementary schools and how the growth is going. And then whoever harvests the first healthy peas gets a Jefferson cup that's engraved with their name. And
That is so
the winner.
fantastic.
Yeah, and
What-
this is first grade.
Oh,
Yeah.
what happens at Greenbrier?
Greenbrier is a really sweet garden. They have 2 spots. They have an indoor courtyard and an outdoor. And they have a special shed there that has a living roof. And so they also have an after-school garden club. They do Garden Wednesdays where the teachers come out for classes. We also have chickens that will come visit. We borrow chickens from neighbors in the city that have them, and we'll bring them in. So like they were just here a couple weeks ago, and the kids were able to come in
read?
and hold them.
They
and
come in.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Okay, so now when school is over, what happens to these gardens?
The gardens are active all summer. The garden coordinators work around the year, and they engage families either in signing up and coming out and taking care of the garden and harvesting. Some of the schools also have summer school. So those schools, the camps will come out and use it. And then at Buford, we host programs. We host summer camps. We host a garden to table summer camp with the PB&J kitchen.
Great.
Where in the morning the kids go to the garden and they work, and then they harvest whatever's ready, and they take it to the kitchen at PB&J Fund, and they make meals with it. We also work with Parks and Rec and Boys and Girls Club. Their kids all come over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of the food goes home with the children,
Yes,
right? But
yeah.
at the end of the school year too.
Yeah, our gardens, we really try and focus on being educational gardens. We're not trying to produce food for the kitchens at this point because we're relying on local growers for that, but then the kids get to take home as much as possible.
Everybody look really hard and see if you can find a pea, but that's what we're growing here. So if you see one like this over here, real carefully kind of wrap it around and help it, and then it'll start growing up, right?
Gardening is fun because there's tons of things you can do, like sifting the dirt. We pick the plants. Some of them are fantastic.
I taste like everything in the garden except for tomatoes. My favorite thing is a carrot.
It's really exciting because you get to see the wonderful things that you've grown, and you get to eat them and see how they taste.
The garden gives the students an opportunity to be able to learn outside in the real world. So what I would say is funny is to watch the kids touch grubs, watch them touch worms and say ooh, but then they all run over to look at it. And so just seeing them experience new things that we find gross, but then they find exciting.
There are so many benefits to this program. So talk about partnerships in the community. You touched on that a little bit, but you have over 50 partners in the community. Talk about the importance of that.
So we have different kinds of partnerships. One is being a nonprofit, we're always rely on the support of individuals and businesses in the community. And Charlottesville is a very generous community. So we have partnerships with local businesses that do promotion, where percentage of proceeds goes to our organizations.
That's great.
So because they're aligned, they believe in healthy eating, they believe in healthy food, and they want to reinforce that.
Yeah.
And then we have program partnerships as well. So organizations that we work with around the city that are doing something similar. Like I already mentioned several of them.
And City of Promise and the local food hub. You work with the local food hub.
We do, yeah, and the Urban Agricultural Collective of Charlottesville. And through the years, as the program has developed since Linda and this group of volunteers started it, we've grown more and more into the partnerships and realized how important it is to combine. So we've recently formed a network called the Charlottesville Food Justice Network that brings together organizations from around the city that are in some way working to build a healthy and just food system. And we're working together to say, okay, how does our work align? Where do we contribute to each other? So, for example, City Schoolyard Garden focuses on youth and education,
Right.
you know, healthy living skills.
Right.
City of Promises focuses on an array of development for families. The Urban Agricultural Collective grows food with neighbors. The local food hub connects with growers, with farmers. So we're
Yeah.
each like somewhere along the food system cycle and trying to collaborate and work together. The Charlottesville City Schools is a huge partner as well. They provide for many of the students in our schools, they provide 2 of their daily meals. So being able to support them doing that in a way that's most healthful for the students is a big goal of ours.
That is so fantastic. If somebody wants to get involved and help in some way, what do they do?
So there are so many ways to get involved. Obviously, it takes a lot of work to grow a garden.
Yeah.
So there's lots of volunteer opportunities in terms of work days, getting out in the helping out with classes, all of that. So there's all kinds of different ways to get involved through volunteering, donating, of course, supporting our growing budget, engaging your business in some way.
Once I started learning how to take care of plants and like having things that I need to take care of or that are a priority, it helped me understand life more. And like, if you do this one thing, you forget to water, one day it'll die, you know? So you have to keep on track with it. It helps you focus and organize and problem solve too.
When I first got here in first grade, I was just like, wow, we have a garden, and I was like, where is it? Where is it? I want to see it. And then I finally came down here, and I was like, wow, this is awesome.
This is one of the few places where kids from all backgrounds, from all academic abilities, from all economic levels, they all come together and they work together in the garden.
City Schoolyard Garden is a blessing to the teachers, the students, and to the community.
Did you guys see the blueberries over here?
Yeah. Oh, blueberries. I want to see.
I'm starting.
Oh. You have rabbits.